First of all, I want to thank you everyone for subscribing and liking a lot of my videos on my YouTube channel. So thank you very much for that. And today I wanted to start this lesson a little bit differently. I want to talk mostly about the literary aspect of To Kill a Mockingbird from a scientific perspective. And in this case, it will be the perspective of a psychology or mental health. It is a lot in this book that tells us about reading someone's facial expression, understanding someone else's emotion, and there is a lot that touches upon such notions as morality, as very, very deep and broad moral and ethic categories. I want to do it a little differently. I'm not going to be telling you any answers because there is no answers. There is only a possibility to ask questions and to ponder upon them. And I would invite us to meditate on those questions and to try to answer them together. So in order to do this, please feel absolutely free to comment, to write your any comments down below for a mutual discussion about such important topics as mental health. And you can write anything you feel like it, answer any question that you think is important to you, and I hope it will be beneficial for everyone. Okay, let's start. So it's based upon chapters 10 and 11 today, and I'm going to discuss the characters and the differences that they see in each other at the beginning of the book and at the end of the book. So the different ways they see each other, okay? And of course that's majorly, I'm referring to the narrator and the main character, Scout Finch. Okay, so having said that, question number one. All right. I will read to you a quote from chapter 10, and that quote is extremely important in the literary world, and it is very well reflected in the title of the book itself. Shoot all the blue jays you want if you can hit them, but remember, it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. Here I would ask us, I would ask you, I would want to ask you and myself several questions. They're important in literature and they're important in mental health sciences. Question number one is, what do you think it means in this scene? So in this particular situation, what does the father of the boy is referring to? So the father is giving the boy a gun, a rifle that he purchased for Christmas as a Christmas present to his son, and he is telling him this phrase. So Of course, he differentiates between different birds. And he says, you can kill this bird, but you cannot kill that bird because this bird doesn't do any harm to us. It only sings sweet and beautiful music to our ears. Question of morality is whether we should differentiate between whom we kill and whom we don't kill. That's question number 1 that I raise. So feel free to answer in the comments down below or in my Facebook page, anywhere, because I believe these are important topics to discuss. Question number 2. What do you think it means? Because I don't want to say it's a figurative speech. It's not directly figurative speech in literature, but it is almost like an allegory. It refers to something larger than just talking about the scene. And I don't want to say by any means that the life of a bird is less important than the life of a human. This is something you can discuss as well in the comments down below. But what I'm referring to is that this phrase or the situation in the scene is more allegorical, and it refers to the overall title of the story, To Kill a Mockingbird. And the book is not about a bird. The book is about people. So, sometimes for some people it's harder to understand figurative speech. It's not an easy thing to do for various types of people. And to see allegory in literature is a good way to practice this understanding and connection in your mind. So to interpret the overall larger meaning of this phrase, we can say that the father is referring to the fact that is a sin to kill someone who is innocent. Now, the question that I ask us and suggest we should ponder upon it is whether we should distinguish between killing innocent and killing those who committed a crime or sinned. Who is the one, who is that person, who is the judge to decide who is innocent and who is not? Let's move on. That was a lot. It was just question number 1. Question number 2, still the same, chapter 10. Scout's opinion about her father, that he's old and boring. Later, this opinion changes. So she becomes proud of her father, and she doesn't think he is boring anymore because she figures out what. And this is not a test or a quiz of whether you remember what happened in the chapter. I can't give you that answer, but I still want us to think about how is it connected to the questions of not only literary interpretation, but as well morality and questions of mental health. That's what we're talking about. So she becomes proud of him when she finds out that he is able to shoot really well. So he's very good at his rifle, and he's a pro-guns person politically. So we can discuss the political aspect if you wish as well in the comments down below or on the Facebook. So, yep. A lot of questions here. So any comments on whether you believe that this is something to be proud about, that you are able to shoot real well or not. And one more thing, he didn't really say or tell anyone that he was a good shooter, but he actually did shoot and he did kill in that chapter. He didn't kill a person, he killed a dog. And the dog was, the dog had rabies. So the dog was sick. And the dog was dangerous too. So it's another very complex question about whether are we morally entitled to kill someone who has rabies and someone who is capable of harming others. Rabies can also stand for something more symbolic. I don't want to even, but you know what I'm talking about. Now let's move on. Question number 3. The father actually said that he is not proud about his ability to shoot well. He said that he's not proud about it, not because he doesn't like to shoot, but because he says it's his gift, something that he was born with it. Or you can say that God gave him his gift. My question is, should we be proud about our gifts? Or should we just take them for granted and we were just born like this? We didn't really work hard for them. It's a very popular topic that pedagogy or education discusses, whether we should praise our children for being smart or whether we should praise our children for working hard, or whether we should just let our children to choose what they like, enjoy, and that's how they learn. But that's a different story. We'll talk about it later. So that's a lot of questions to ponder upon. Keep thinking. Question number 4. Really? Question number... probably 4. Okay. It's actually going to be question number 1 in chapter 11. I do not know, I'm confused. The numbers don't really matter. The ideas do. Okay, there was a neighbor who lived on the same street with Jem, Atticus, and Scout with their family, and she was an elderly lady, and she was a drug addict because of her sickness, that she started taking, the drugs for the pain relief. Another topic to discuss. And she got addicted to morphine. Then later on, she was trying to overcome her addiction, but of course, she was a very suffering person. She suffered a lot, and she offended Jem pretty strongly, and then Jem became extremely upset, and he actually became angry and mad, and then he destroyed her flowers, and then there is something else he did. So what else did he do? That's actually a question, but I will answer that for you. He also offended, and I believe he didn't really punch his sister, but he pulled her hair, and his sister was extremely upset and disappointed with this. So yeah, so here's a lot of questions. How should we react to people who offend us? Let's say, how should we react to the neighbor who offends us? How should we how can we practice stopping the anger? How can we manage anger? What are the techniques that you're using? Have you ever been really, really angry to the extent that you want to punch someone in the face? I don't want to mention killing anyone. We're not talking about that. Have you ever been angry, very angry at someone in your life? You don't need to answer that question. Or are there any techniques that you want to share that help you manage your anger? Share please in the comment down below. What was Jim's punishment? If you remember, his punishment was to read to his neighbor every day, to go to her house and read. That's a good question, pedagogical question. Should we ever punish our children with a book? It's probably the best thing you can do if you want your children to start hating reading. That reminds me of something. Does it remind you of something? You do not need to share your intimate, it's not a confession. Question number next. I think it's 3. Atticus is not upset that his neighbor calls him bad names. Why? A lot of questions here. If someone offends us, if someone calls you a bad name, how do you feel? Do you feel, don't lie to me, tell me the truth. I mean, I don't want you to just like put a good face and yeah, I'm never offended. They can call me whatever. I don't care. If you're like that, teach me. Teach me your techniques. I want to learn that. I want to learn that, how not to care if someone offends you. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it, and that's one of my New Year's resolutions. Not to give we're not using bad words on this channel. Okay, so, but what did Atticus, back to literature, say? How did he explain to his children? How was he teaching his children to react in a more civilized way to such situations? Well, he said that you need to think about people, that they suffer. If they treat you badly, it's not, well, they suffer themselves, so that can change your total perspective, and that actually works for me very, very well. So when I see people as those who suffer themselves, there is no bigger punishment. I don't want to punish them anymore, not offended as such anymore. How about you? Okay. Why does the neighbor ask the children to come and stay longer every day for the reading session? Who remembers? And it's okay if you don't. She is trying to overcome her morphine addiction, and she is trying to she's trying to do that. So a lot of questions here about overcoming our addictions, and about addictions, and about addictions. Okay. So basically there's one more thing I wanted to add, and that's not in this question, that or maybe it's somewhere in the question, that she is a hero. Do you think she is a hero? Do you think someone who's trying to overcome addiction is a hero? Answer that, please. I want to know. That was my next question. In which way she was heroic, basically. In that way she was heroic, because she was trying to overcome her addiction. Now, that's a more specific question. Her attempt, go back to literature, to overcome her addiction is very much connected to his Scout's father's attempt to defend Tom Robinson in the way that they both believed when they were starting the fight that they will lose. That's a very strong question for all of us to contemplate. I can give you my own opinion, and that's an opinion. There is no right or wrong. That's my opinion. And my opinion is this, that if we believe that we should continue fighting, it's already a win. There is absolutely no lose in this situation, even if we lose from other people's perspective. Never think about it that way. Never think about it that way. Just think about what you feel. If it's important for you, that's the only thing that matters, not other people's opinions. I hope that helps you. I hope that helps all of us. Okay, that's one. We're almost done, so stick with me. You are doing great. You're doing wonderful. Okay, Boo, Atticus, and their neighbor, Miss DuBose, live in the same street. So what else? Back to health sciences and literature. What else unites those characters? One important thing. Scout. Scout is a unreliable narrator because she's a child, and there are a lot of other reasons which I'm not going to be mentioning here. These are my theories. I don't mention all my theories here, okay? So, having said that, she, at the beginning of the story, did not understand them correctly. So, as a writer, Harper Lee is doing a very wonderful job. She shows us how a person can misread other people. So she shows Scout's perspective to the reader, and she also shows her own writer's perspective about those characters. So the characters are different from how they are seen or how they are portrayed first through the eyes of the narrator. I hope that you really enjoyed it, because it was very deep, and there is a lot of things I want you to share with me, because I really want to participate in all those wonderful discussions. So please comment down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you very soon. Thank you very much for your support.